Good morning and welcome to our webinar this morning on Social Security claiming. Our guest speaker today, as usual, is Dave Pimper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching. He's going to talk you through the top 4 or 5 things that you need to know about Social Security claiming to be valuable to many of your clients. And then we'll have some offers to extend that knowledge to more in-depth knowledge, to also find ways to meet new folks and be a better assistance to your current client base around Social Security claiming. So it's going to be a great webinar today. We got a great group on today for a Friday. It's stunning, really. I think there's a lot of folks that not only understand the opportunity around Social Security claiming, but maybe have an idea too. This is how great a time this is to be in the fixed indexed annuity business. So thank you all for joining us here today. Dave is going to join us in a moment, and I'm going to
right now.
Hey, that was less than a moment.
Hey,
How are you?
no, I'm listening. That's pretty quick. Good. I'm enjoying listening to you. We got a good crowd, Steve. This is great.
Yeah. It's for Friday morning, when I know a lot of people don't tend to always work as hard as they might on Monday through Thursday. That's a great turnout. So let me
Yeah,
run
you
through a
bet.
couple things here really quick, Dave, just so everybody's aware of some of the things we do here at IAMS. I know we've got a couple
Sure.
people on that are pretty new with us. So if you haven't already taken advantage of new producer builders, I hope that you will take the opportunity to do so. It's based on your business that you do your first 180 days with IAMS. You can lock in a bonus at various levels, and you can see here one of them refers to at the 750 level. We've got a reference to Social Security seminars. There's also at the $500,000 level. There's also postcard mailing as well that you can tap into. And of course, you can go to the Ritz-Carlton if you want. You can take cash. There's a lot of things you can do there. Bottom line is that I hope you'll keep in mind that during your first 180 days, when you get some business right in the pipeline quickly, there's some extra rewards for you. Even if you don't see something on here, but there's something that you want to try, or maybe have IAMS make a donation to help you on the sales or marketing side, you can suggest that as well, and we'll definitely consider that. Our goal is the same as yours. We want to grow your business. IAMS Business Builders that you may not be aware of is we've got 2 programs that have been ongoing for years and years here. The one that we probably send out the biggest single checks on is our referred producer program. Like you, we built our business over the years with referrals, and what we do is we are able to, and we do reward those referrals with bonuses based on business done on an ongoing basis by your referee. So if your referee does business, you get a bonus, and we send those out generally quarterly. Some of them actually go out monthly now. If they get to be checks that are higher, more regular production comes in, then we send them out monthly. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. As I mentioned, those are some of the biggest checks that we have going out because they tend to, as you all know, many of you have been with us for many years. Somebody that joins the IAMS team tends to stay with us, and they tend to do business, and so those checks just continue to keep coming. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. Many of you already take advantage of marketing reimbursement. That program is really simple. You do business, money goes in your marketing reimbursement account, you spend money on marketing, and we match your spend dollar for dollar, so effectively kind of doubling the value of your marketing spend. And again, a great way to grow your business, and it's good for us, and obviously we're going to encourage that any way that we can. Most of our agents now use Firelight applications, the eApp system. If you're not using Firelight, it's only a matter of time now before you have to go to eApps if you're in the annuity business. We have a couple carriers that don't do business now any other way, Ibexus and Aspida, both introducing some of the more competitive products out there right now, but you can't do business with them if you don't do it via eApp. And some of that has to do with their ability to save money on processing. And carriers would tell you as well, they all process eApps faster. We can send an app into Athene, for instance, and if it's an eApp, we see it on their system the next day. If it's not an eApp, we see it on their system about 5 days later. It's not the way that it should be, but it's just the way that it is. So they do definitely look at those apps faster. So if you want quicker turnaround and frankly a more professional and easier way to do business with your clients, eApp is the way to go. You can do that simply on our website by just going in and registering, and you can access all of the carriers that that we do business with that use the Firelight system, the EAP system. You can go in and do that all from our website. So you don't have to go from website to website to website. If you need to write an app, for instance, on one client with 2 different carriers, you can do that much easier using our single sign-on. You can simply input the information for one carrier and then go in and do a cut and paste over to the other carrier, and it'll automatically fill in all the appropriate blanks on the other carrier's app. And then you just go get that signature on the second one. So a lot of advantages to doing e-apps. Soon it will be a requirement. Now, hopefully you can find a way to give your sales director a call and get registered for that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about our creative department, but I do want to tell you that I get great feedback from the field on the great job that they do on helping them grow their image, and whether it's getting them set up on with just some nice flyers and mailers, or get them set up on Facebook, or get your website in place. Guys are just amazed by the quality of work that they do. So if you're not taking advantage of them, do so. We do what we can pro bono. A lot of times we're using marketing reimbursement. Our goal is to do as much as we can for as little as we can, and certainly for as little out of pocket to you as we can. So if you take advantage of that. Retirement Analyzer is a really nice retirement analysis software. You can see before you on the screen some of the questions it can help you answer for your client. You can also see how the presentation looks. What you can't see is how when you begin to use a product, and Retirement Analyzer isn't the only one. It's the one that we use. We've used it for the past 16, 17 years. We pay for it. For our producers, we pay that $80 per month fee on their behalf because we're big believers in it, because we see what happens. You get a stickier client base. Your sales process becomes a little bit more systematized and process driven, which is good for you, and it helps you be more efficient with your clients, and then you get your client coming back to you year after year after year, because what do they want to know? They want to know how they're coming along towards their retirement that you spoke about last year and the year before, and you can show them that in a very systematic way. So if you're not using a product like that, I would suggest that you consider the Retirement Analyzer. If you're doing business with us, we're going to take care of the cost of that. As I mentioned, simply give Marcus or Justin a call here at 800-255-5055. Have them give you the link, and I would just try it on yourself. Try one on pull one of your files on your A clients and input them. See what it looks like, and see if it's something that you will use. I can tell you that I have folks that will not. I've got producers, large producers, that will not work with a client anymore without doing a retirement analysis, because of the way that it presents to the client and the way that it eases their presentation to their clients. So consider that, and again, we'd love to pay for that. If you're just getting started with us, you haven't gotten to where you're doing business, but you want to try it and look at it, let them know that we'll give you a 30-day free trial. Hey, we're going to go to the Hotel Park City. Park City, one of the hottest places in the country right now. That hotel, the Hotel Park City, is a beautiful rustic setup. You can see a couple pictures there that really don't do it justice. We'd love to have you join us. We're doing that on our trip that we do each year in conjunction with one of our carriers co-oping with Athene. So it's a great partnership between us and Athene that allows us to make this trip available to our producers and their guests. And we're going to go out. That trip is going to be the end of, there's the dates, 8/20, 8/23, going to be late August. So we're going to be out there not during the ski season, but rather during the mountain climbing and touring and golfing season. And it's Park City in that area is a beautiful place to be that time of year. Still plenty of time to qualify. We've got the rest of this month and into December, and who knows, we might see that get extended a little bit. And we're also offering double credits right now. So get that Athene business in and out the door. Anybody that does business with Athene through IAMS is eligible for this trip. If you do business with another carrier, you're eligible for our Top Producer Summit, but this is our Athene only trip, and it's only business written with Athene through IAMS. I mentioned our Top Producer Summit. All business that you're doing right now, whether it's annuities, life insurance, long-term care, MedSup, everything that you do counts towards qualification for our Top Producer Summit. Everything that you do with IAMS counts towards Top Producer Summit. You can see we've got a $4.5 million qualification. That's over 18 months. We do an 18-month qualification on that. So basically, if you think of that as a $3 million annual qualification, and you and your guest will join us at a great trip at the Seaside Sanctuary, which is Kiawah Island, the sanctuary at Kiawah Island. great golf, but there's a ton of stuff to do there. You can see you're right on the beach, a lot to see, a lot of great natural resources around there. Besides the beach, you've got a beautiful. I don't know if that's during the turtle migration, which sounds like it'd be less than exciting, but it's pretty cool. I was down there for that once about 7 years ago. That's pretty cool, and a lot of great things to do there near the Charleston area, which brings me to a nice segue, which our top 20 is going to take an extra couple of days with their guest, and we're going to stay at the Charleston Place in beautiful downtown Charleston. I don't know if I have a slide on that or not. Look. I do not. Next up comes Dave. But I would like to have you all join us there and let us know what we can do to help you qualify. There's, again, qualification started in July, runs through the end of 2023, and beginning October 1 and all the way through the end of November, and maybe, little teaser, maybe beyond, we're going to give you double credits for your business. So let's get rocking and rolling and have you and your guest have a great time out at the sanctuary at Kiawah Island, South Carolina. All right, I gave you a little introduction to Dave Pimper earlier on. Dave has been a coach with us, Lazarus Coaching. He's got a great team there at Lazarus Coaching, by the way, and he's been a coach with us for about the last 15 years. And Dave would tell you he doesn't do it for money. It's a very small part of his business, and he does it really for the love of helping producers grow their business. And been around a lot of things that Dave has done. He's coached around practice management. He's coached around Social Security seminars. He's coached around radio, which we can probably talk about a little bit here today. He is coached around seminars regarding retiree mistakes, 8 retiree mistakes, and he's probably going to be introducing another seminar or 2 here very soon as well. And what he does with his practice, of course, he's doing the same seminars. And so he's got A to C best practices on how to be successful. And is that a way that can assure your success better than any other? I would say yes. I mean, if somebody says, hey, here's a seminar, good luck. The difference between that and somebody saying, hey, we got a great seminar that we know works, and here's A to Z coaching. By A to Z, we mean we're going to talk you through everything you need to know to do the seminar. We're going to talk you through before the seminar, after the seminar, the appointment, moving from appointment 1 to appointment 2 to close. It really is the best way ever to get in, for instance, to the Social Security seminar business. And we might talk about that a little bit here today. Dave has been a producer since 1981, multi-million-dollar producer in both the annuity business and securities business. He holds both his Series 6, Series 7, Series 24, Series 65 as well. So highly qualified, regular top producer, just like many of you on the line with us here today. So without that, without any further ado, and with a little less chatter from me, let's turn it over to the coach, Mr. Dave Pimper.
Well, that was quite an introduction, Steve. I mean, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about myself right now.
I didn't want to say anything about that picture.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I've been around for a long time, so been in the business for 40 plus years and really enjoy it. That's why I'm still in it. And I will say this: you'll hear a lot of speakers on webinars and a lot of FMOs, or if you're broker dealer, RIA, but saying that this is just a great time. It's the best time ever to get in the business. I will tell you right now is a very, very good time. Market is extremely volatile. 2 days ago it was down 600. Yesterday it was up 1,200. I mean, it's just a wild time. And the more the more volatility you have, like today, the market's down 250 points. The more volatility is, the more concerned people get with their money. Even with a plus 5% day yesterday on the stock market, the market's still down 17%. 17% for the year. If you have 100 grand in there, you have 830,000. It's all in the S&P 500 or in the stock index. That doesn't happen with fixed index annuities. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I do a lot of security business also, but has my fixed indexed business increased? You darn right it has. And I can show anything. I'm independent. I can show anything that I want. But when you got caps that are in that 10% range on a 1-year pure S&P 500, no internal fee. I mean, again, I don't mean to be talking product, but my, oh my, how do you beat that? I've been in the business for 41 years, but I've only shown fixed index for 17 of those, and those are the highest caps that I've ever seen. So it's a heck of a product. And what happens is a lot of that production came by way of Social Security seminars. Now you can say what you want to say, but they work. I was just talking. I've got more out than this. We do, Steve, but I was talking to a group in South Carolina, a group in Florida, and a group in well, I say group, but a producer up in New Jersey, and two of the three, one's lagging a little bit, but we guarantee 35 signups, and one just had their second seminar yesterday, and he had over 60 signups. And one has the one down in Florida, and sometimes Florida can be tricky, Steve, and you know that. It can be a tough market because so much money down there. We have over 60 signups right now, and we still have a week left of signups to go. So our marketing is really working well. If you're in a bit of a rut or want more production, then you got to listen closely here in the next 25 minutes. We'll be done with this workshop by about quarter till. So it's not going to be a long seminar or not. I'm talking about the webinar. It's not going to be a long one. We're going to kind of go through this pretty quickly, but you're going to get a real good feeling kind of what's available here. If you have any questions, certainly type them in. I'm going to be more than happy to answer those for you. This is from Sarah Bryan. She says most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. Listen to the body of the article. A majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor. Is that wild? You can throw in bankers and CPAs and lawyers. There's only about 1 in every 25 advisor really understands Social Security. And the main reason for that is there's a little work to learn it. No one's really sat to coach them. That's why I'm here. I'm a coach. And Steve said, you know what I don't do for the money? Well, sometimes but there is some money involved in it, but it's a small part of my business. But I really, really enjoy helping people. And Social Security is one of those areas that I love. So here we're going to take a test. It's about a 5-minute test. There's 5 questions. Only 1 in 300 seniors could ace this test. I did, but I should because I know Social Security. But here's the first question. Please take it with me. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Say you're single. And so to maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim the benefit? If you said full retirement age, you're wrong. It's age 70. That's the time, age 70. Question number 2, what's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Okay. What is the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Answer is 60. Yep. You can take early. And on that, asking all those seniors, only 9% of the people knew that. Okay. Next one. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yay or nay? Yeah, they got to. They got to claim to get them. Question 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes or no? Yeah, they can. But there's 4 stipulations that have to be met. So if you guess yes, you're in the running here. But tell me 2 of the 4 stipulations. Don't have to tell me all 4, but 4 things have to line up. Write down 2. Truly, working with me, write down 2 of the stipulations. Okay, here we go. What are they? First one is your marriage lasted at least 10 years, 10 consecutive years, no breakups in that for divorces. Secondly, you have to be unmarried. The person claiming the benefit has to be unmarried. The ex has to be at least 62. Divorce was 2 years ago or longer. Those 4 things have to line up. If you got 2 of those, and you said yes, I'm going to give you yes, correct on this question. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you are divorced? It's a great question. So, your divorced spouse, your ex is dead. Can you collect from them a survivor's benefit? You darn right you can, if those 4 stipulations are met. How'd you do on that quiz? If you guessed you got all 5 right, well, that doesn't work. But if you actually got 5 right, good for you. Or even 4 right, you know the subject. If you got 3 right, yeah, it gets iffy. If you got 1 or 2 right, I'm telling you right now, you need help. You need coaching, and we coach in 3 different ways: through Social Security seminars, which are hot right now. I mean, people, the pent up demand after the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, lots of people coming. Talked to my guy down in Florida, and he's elated. Hey, Steve, I don't know if you're on the line or not, but I will say this: that fella just did one with another service, paid over $5,000. He got 15 people between the 2 nights and like 2 appointments.
He's happy.
Yeah, you darn right. He told me right now. He said, and you know the fella, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
He's not the easiest to please.
No.
I mean, he's a good, very, very good producer. He's been around for a long time. He's certainly he does his thing, but he's very, very happy. And remember, the marketing is the key thing, because you have to get enough people there. But then you've got to get the point. But there's some things after that. But getting the people there, that's why seminars don't succeed. And he was kind of Mr. Happy this morning when I talked to him, which is wonderful.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. So we got 3 ways. I was just telling you, there's 3 ways with seminar marketing: $2,750, guarantee of 35 attendees, guaranteed signups for attendees. And then I coach you on Social Security. If you don't know it, IAMS pays for me to do that. Doesn't come out of your pocket, which is very nice. You get free Social Security software for 90 days, for 3 months. If you want to pay for it, it's like $30 a month after that, but that's strictly up to yourself. Get a video of myself. A lot goes on in that Social Security seminar. Also, Retirement Boss Radio, which we just put a brand new one on the East Coast, and we got a really good station up in the Midwest on one of the cities. So that is doing very well. If you never thought about radio, the entry on that is just maybe a month, $3,000 to $4,000 a month of being live on the radio. Well, excuse me, recorded, but it sounds live on the radio with a co-host called Retirement Boss Radio. We coach you up on Social Security there at no charge. IAMS pays me for that also. Or you just a la carte and say, hey, Dave, I don't want marketing. I got enough appointments, or I don't want to go through the work of doing it. I think that's a mistake, but that's up to you. But if you just want to a la carte it, $800 for 4 coaching sessions, $200 a session. We do it 3 different ways. If you work in the pre-retired crowd or just retired crowd and you're not working Social Security, shame on you. If you're competing as Dave Pimper, you're probably going to lose about every time, because I'm going to be able to help them with their Social Security. Steve, I'm just working on one that came from a Social Security workshop. It's a $700,000. It's an old First Data plan, which is now Fiserv, and she's had it in there, and she's had it in there forever. And she said, I was doing so good until this year. And she goes, this really makes me think that I need someone to help me with my plan. And
she does.
And I'll tell you right now, a major part of this is going to go into a fixed index, because she wants safety. And so it's just a perfect fit. And that came from the Social Security workshop. In fact, I'm sure that will go through, but can't count it. But I did from that workshop. I did 2 other pieces of business for about $500,000. So that'd be well over $1 million, of money from that one workshop. I'm not even talking about the other 2 that I've done, before November. So that's what workshops do. It gets you in front of people and a chance to do business. I'm going to go back on this. How important is Social Security? Is darn important. About 60% of all retirees, they count their benefit as the major source of income. It's a big deal. Okay. I better put my glasses on. Hold on here. Can't figure out if I'm going forward or backwards. Here we go. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. This is from Janet Herron from USA Today. Losing $100,000. That'll open up your ears. How much does Social Security claiming at the wrong time cost you? Okay? Retirees will lose an average. Get a load of this, $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Bullet point 4, overall only 4% of retirees took the financially optimal age. And it isn't always just waiting to 70. It is for a single person. But if it's a survivor, if it is married, divorced, survivor divorced, those all could be different ages besides just waiting to 70. Social Security started in 35 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The age was only 65. You couldn't take it 66. You couldn't take it 64. You had to take it 65. Longevity back then was age 62. So you died at 62, but you can take it 65. What a deal for the government. Today, you can take anywhere between 62 and 70. Average age of the person is high 70s. Cost of living started in 75. And there's been a lot of talk about inflation because COLA this year is up 8.7%. But President Biden did say, that he was the influencer on people getting a raise in their Social Security. But that, of course, that isn't the truth because it's done automatically by the U.S. government. It makes no difference if you're Republican or Democrat or who you are. There's no influencer, on that inflation. Also, with inflation going wild, all of your expenses are up. The one silver lining is the Social Security. But would the average person rather not pay 32% more for eggs, what's happened last year, or 36% for used cars, or what lumber prices have done? No, we'd rather have lower inflation. It's the second highest inflation, but the COLA is great. And everybody who is 62 years of age or over gets that full COLA of 8.7%, whether you're taking it or whether you're going in and you are deferring it or compounding it. If it's under 62, it's part of the AIME, AIME, which is the calculation of how to figure benefit. But there's a portion of inflation that is included in that. Okay, it's complicated, but there's a portion. First taxation was in 83. The second higher taxation was in 93. Not everyone pays taxes on Social Security, but if you're married and filing jointly and your modified adjusted gross income plus half of your Social Security plus all of your municipal bond interest, if it's above $32,000, you're going to pay. You're going to owe 50% of it or 85% of it. Not many changes in Social Security year to year. There's full retirement age changes, COLA changes each year, but besides that, you truly don't have a change. About every 7 to 10 years, there's major change. Bipartisan Budget Act was the last time. Remember this: there's 3 important ages or dates in Social Security. The full retirement age, which everything goes from, is somewhere between, depending on the year you're born, between 66 and 67. You can take as early as 62, but it will be discounted. You get the benefit now, but it's discounted. If you wait later, like I am, I'm 67 and a half. I haven't taken my benefit yet. Yeah, it's guaranteed to grow it. Actually, 8% a year, plus the COLA on top of that. Yeah. And then you have to take by the age of 70 or just lose the benefit. Can it have a huge value? Social Security, darn right it can. Really, there's 2 things. If you claim at your right time, not the right time, not a right time, but your right time, and you live long enough to appreciate the benefit. And there's no pun intended about appreciating, but appreciate that benefit. Trust fund. When they talk about Social Security going broke, they're talking about the trust fund. Has $2.8 trillion. It's hard to understand how much $2.8 trillion. You know what, Steve? I don't know if you're still, if you're on the call or not, because I know he'll come back. But $1 trillion. If you stack $1 bills flat, $1, $1, you stack one, it goes for, forever. I mean, just thousands of miles of that dollar bill. What happens is it's always been a surplus for the last long time. I mean, since 1983, there's been a surplus, but last year there was not. There was a decrease in the trust fund of 2.8 trillion. The reason for that mainly was in the pandemic, many people either lost their jobs, they went in they were fired from their jobs, they lost their jobs, or they were furloughed. I mean, that word furloughed came out, but they weren't making money. And a lot of people just said, heck with it, I'm going to start taking my Social Security. And Social Security is going to run out of money in 2034 or 2035. But a lot of people think that that would be the end of their money if they're taking Social Security, but it's not, because it's a pay-as-you-go system. About 90% of all the benefit of Social Security comes in through payroll taxes. The 6.2% you pay, the 6.2% your employer pays. If you're not lucky enough, like a lot of us are, we pay it on both ends. I used to think that was kind of a rook, but I understand now. The 6.2 if you're self-employed. But they're going to shore up. There's lots of ways to do it. But there probably will be an increase, something of taxation somehow. And the second thing would be just maybe changing some age brackets. Maybe 67 isn't the full retirement age now. Maybe it jumps to 68 or 69. So there's going to be some kind of compromise, probably of both of those, I would guess. Here's the facts. Is it a pay-as-you-go system? Yeah. Payroll taxes generate, and then the other 10% is with taxation and interest on the bonds or IOUs. Yeah, about $1 trillion comes in, but we're going to be running a deficit from here on out because of the baby boomers and all the money that they're going to be taking on out. So does the government, they buy special issue treasury bonds, and those special issue treasury bonds have no market value adjustment with interest rates. So if they're paying 3% right now, it makes no difference. I mean, that $1,000 bond is stable, it's fixed. So they don't want the risk of interest rates, which bonds are really plummeting this year. Stocks are down 17%, and I tell you, bonds are down like 16, 17% also. Hasn't happened since 1941. But does the government sell those bonds or borrow against those bonds? They do. And they issue IOUs, or they sell it on out and issue IOUs. So there's nothing hard asset that backs that trust fund, and that really scares a lot of people. It doesn't scare me a bit. I love IOUs from the U.S. government. I mean, how about the currency in your pocket? What backs the dollar bill? Gold? No. Silver? No. Bonds? No. Bitcoin? Heavenly gosh, no. Nothing backs it, except for the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. Same exact full faith and credit of the U.S. government as Social Security has. So if cash is still good, Social Security is going to still be good. When they tell me cash is no good, that's when I'll start being concerned. Got to have 4 quarters of coverage. Hey, if you can, put a question in. If you got a question, type it in. We don't have as many questions as we normally do, so we got kind of a quiet group, but get those fingers going, ask some questions. Hey, if you coach with me, I go through this a lot slower, and we role play, and I've got attachments, and if you're seminaring, we got videos of myself giving the seminar. We go in. We just have lots of information. We have a great support team, and Steve mentioned that. I've got 3 administrators, but 2 of those run my Social Security. One in particular, and she's very good. She's a bulldog. She gets things done, and not many mistakes. We're pretty efficient here. 40 quarters of coverage. You need $1,510 to get a quarter of coverage. You need 40 of those with Social Security. So basically, you can only earn 1 per quarter. And you can earn all in 1 quarter for 4 quarters, but you can't have any more than 4 quarters in a year. The more you make, up to $147,000, the bigger your benefit's going to be. Above $147,000, you're not paying into Social Security. Next year it's $160,000, just over $160,000, like $160,000, I think $200. That'll be the limit. If you make above that, you're not paying any Social Security. So what happens is, let's say you got 39 quarters. Do you get a benefit, a partial benefit, or no benefit? Government, no benefit. So they look at your earnings over your working career. The higher it is, the bigger your amount's going to be. What age you start the benefit, the earlier you start, closer to 62 you start, the lesser you'll get. The closer you wait to 70, the more you'll get. They think your 35 highest inflation adjusted years. 11 years ago, I thought it was 5 years, like a pension. Nope, 35 years. What if you have 34 years? Well, you just get a zero that year. Who wants zeros? Nobody. It's 5.9% this year. It's going to be 8.7% next year, guaranteed. Came out October the 13th of this year. That's exactly what it is. It's high. Love that dog. Yeah, if you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. FRA, full retirement age. I was born in 55. Stair steps 2 months for the next 5 months until it hits the age 67. That's the most Social Security benefit can be, or that's the highest age that Social Security can be. 67. A newborn born today, yeah, age 67 is full retirement age. If you take early, it's discounted, and if you take early, it depends on how early away from full retirement age. Those 5 or 6 years. Or 4 to 6, I say 4 to 5 years, excuse me. Yeah, it's discounted anywhere from 25% to 30%. It is discounted. If you wait longer, like I have, I'm guaranteed 8%. My benefit grew last year. I have a pretty good benefit, around a $3,000 benefit for full retirement age. It grew over $400, and this year with inflation, it's guaranteed to grow like $475. I'm going to grow mine almost $900 in 2 years. Is that wild? Because I haven't taken yet. And and I wouldn't, if I quit working, I wouldn't take. I would go in and take some income from from liquidation from my assets. Not everybody can do that, but that's what I'm going to use for the gap before I turn it on. There's, what? Guaranteed 8% didn't sound very good when the market was making 15, 20, 25, 30% in the last 10 years. But how good does that 8% guarantee look like now, our guaranteed income stream? Looks darn good when the stock market's down 17, 18%. Darn right it is. All right. I'm a big believer if you know that individual benefit, which we kind of went over, but if you know the spousal, survivor, divorced. Used to be restricted too, but there's so few people going to do restricted. If you know those benefits, you pretty much know Social Security, I would say, inside and out. Oh, got to go back. I'm sorry. So here's a spousal couple. Let me first ask you this. If you're married, do you have to initiate and establish yourself the spousal benefit, or do they do it automatically? A lot of people say you've got to initiate it. You don't. They do it automatically, which is pretty interesting. I would double check it, but they do it automatically. So let's say Dave's PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount of full retirement age. Dave's is $2,400. Amy's amount is $1,000. Dave takes his. Amy takes hers. Higher one always gets his amount. He gets his $2,400. Amy the lower one always has an option. They can take all of theirs, which is $1,000, or take half of her husband's, which is $1,200. Half of 24 is $1,200. What's bigger between $1,000 and $1,200? Of course, $1,200. So what happens is she's going to get an extra $200. You know what? That may not sound like a lot to you, but it pays for something in retirement. I guarantee you, comes in handy. She gets that extra $200. So really, she gets $1,000 of her own benefit. And then she gets $200 of a top-up spousal benefit. And we go more into depth. There's some kind of detours on that too, but pretty cool. How about a survivor benefit? Have to ask for it or done automatically? Have to ask for this one. Dave and Amy are married, both for just the sake, no discounting over full retirement age. Dave's FRA is $2,000. Amy's full retirement benefit is $1,200. Who normally dies first? Yep, guy. 75% of the time. He kicks the bucket. Amy now has an option. She can't take both benefits. She can only take one. She can take hers or she can take his. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? What do you think she does? Of course, she jumps up to his. I'll tell you, there's a story, and I love telling it. My second seminar I ever did was at Midland Lutheran College. I did it in their boardroom. And this person comes in after that, and she says, Mr. Pimper, you said something that really concerns me. I said, what's that? And she said, you said that if you're married and your spouse dies and that person has a bigger benefit than you have, you said that you can jump up to that benefit if he dies. I said, that's right. She says, well, my husband's benefit was $1,800, mine is $1,300, and I was told you couldn't jump up to that bigger benefit. And I said, who told you that? And she said, my brother. Now let me just tell you how that affected her through the last. She had been widowed for 5 years. Hers is her FRA is $1,300. His FRA is $1,800. That's $500 a month she's been missing out on. For 12 months, $6,000. For 5 years, $30,000. She just lost out on $30,000, brother, because $30,000 because she listened to her brother, not an expert that has expertise like ourselves, but her brother. Divorce spouse benefits, again, you have to ask. Marriage lasted 10 years. Remember those 4 things? Marriage lasted 10 years, continuous years. The spouse receiving the benefit is unmarried, at least age 62, divorced more than 2 years ago or more. Yeah, divorce spouse benefits. And on the survivor benefit, or and we talked about the survivor benefit. I'll go back on it, but I can't. Sorry about that. But the survivor benefit, there is still file and spend on survivor. So you can take the widow's benefit and let yours grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and turn it on, or vice versa. The widow's benefit doesn't grow with delayed retirement credits. It sounds complicated, you guys and gals, but I'll tell you right now, when we're studying, you're reading, you're listening, I'm coaching, it comes across, and from a learning side, it really is. I'll tell you right now, it just really goes in and gives you a really good. If you had a 2 or 3 for knowledge, Social Security, I hope I can take you up to 6 or 7 at least. Now, restricted really isn't around much anymore because you have to be at least 62 on January the 1st. Actually, it's the 2nd, January the 2nd of 1954. So you got to be 68 years and 10 months old. If you're not 68 years and 10 months, and you got to be under the age of 70. So there's only about a 12 to 14 month window here. But what happens is, say they're both full retirement age, Dave can keep his going and earn the 8% retirement credits as long as Amy took her benefit. As long as Amy took that benefit, he can let us retire. Well, what's the big thing about that? He can reach out and do a spousal benefit. He can reach out and get 500 of Amy's. Oh, 500 of Amy's, 6,000 a year. That's a pretty darn big deal. And when the shoe fits, it's like Cinderella's slipper. It's a neat thing called restricted application. Can Social Security personnel give you advice? Nope. They can just give your highest benefit at a certain age, at age 62, 66, 70. They can do that. They can't give you advice. But here's what I would do. Can't do that. Right here for the program manual. It says, provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Right there, it says it. Don't do that. We do that. They don't. I always say consider all your income streams, because this is, I call Social Security the worst water cooler talk there is. Hey, I took Social Security at 62 and you should too, Dave. I took Social Security at 70 and you should too. No, it's all individualized. I mean, it depends on health. We're going to ask questions that Social Security can't ask. They can't ask me, Social Security, you can't ask Social Security what are your expenses per month. They can't ask what are your asset base? Like, what are your 401ks, your 403bs, your 457s, your thrift savings plans, your SEPs, your simples, your brokerage account, money at the bank, money in the safe, money in your mattress? They can't ask any of those things. We ask everyone, how about your health? Or, how long do you think you're going to live? They can't ask that. They can just give your highest benefit right now. Well, it certainly changes when you ask those questions. We ask them, they can't. I'm telling you what, if you don't know Social Security, I can help you. I can coach you up. It's flexible because of all the income streams. And don't forget about survivor's benefit because that varies your break even point. Okay? So Social Security is one of the 5 pillars of income: wages, pensions, income producing assets, RMDs on traditionals. But that number 3 is where all the money is. I'm searching for money. This gal, that's how I got that. She came in just for Social Security. But then I searched that and I said, are you happy with your investment? Are you happy with what it's doing? Well, heck no, she's not happy. 80% of it's in stocks. At midterm, at 6 months, her account was down 17 or 18%. And it really bothered her. And she said, I should be watching it more closely. How often do you watch it? Never. Never. Yeah. Telling you what a great time when the markets are down to show something that's guaranteed where it's not going to go down. When to claim, there's just all kinds of different claiming choices. We went through the major ones, but there's kind of detours and innuendos on each one of those. So remember, seminar marketing, $2,750 guarantees 35 sign-ups. Retirement Boss Radio, maybe $3,000 to $4,000 a month. We coach you up. I coach on all of this, and you can use me after the coaching is done too. If you have a quick question, I'm absolutely available for coaching sessions if you just want coached up on Social Security and no marketing. There's no other FMO that gives you that many choices. There's an old adage that says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. When? Never. Procrastinators don't make money. No one comes to me and says, Dave, you can't believe how much money I made from procrastinating. The reason I bring this up, if you heard something today on this webinar, you say, you know what? I probably should get coached up. I probably should learn that Social Security. I should probably market more. I should, our goal is to get more than 10 appointments. And that's our goal. And we normally get many more than that. Steve, our Bob in New Jersey, I can't tell you what he got his second night, but he got 14 appointments his first night. We hope to get 10 or more between the two. I'm sure he got 20 plus appointments. Well, I'll tell you what, when you have 20 plus appointments face to face and they're set up at the workshop, pretty hard not to write some business unless you're just terrible at the sales process. So we're going to open up the line. If you heard something, I'd love to talk to you. 15, 20 minutes, give you some ideas on maybe what Social Security, how it could help your practice. But it's an opportunity. And the business right now is really, really strong. So, Steve, I'm going to turn this on over to you, and we'll answer any questions that we have.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, and I apologize. I know the phone's kind of ringing in the background here.
That's okay. Sure. That's okay.
All right. So we do have a few questions. We talked initially about Social Security seminars, so they've got, and I know you've been talking about a little bit. So a couple questions regard availability. Do we have any issues with, where we can assist folks with Social Security seminars? I mean, I'm guessing there's probably some. Go ahead.
Yeah, there has. It's we don't have areas or demographics that are that are only yours. We don't have that. But has it come up? It has a couple times. If there is a huge city, and I was going to say it's Chicago, well, should we go in with 5 million people? There can't be more than one advisor given this. No, we just want to make sure they're on top of each other. But it has happened so infrequently. I mean, in the last we've been in Social Security seminars, Steve, for about 10 years?
Yeah, I was going to say 11, but you're always better at time. Probably just 10.
Yeah, I think I've done them for 11, but remember, I probably did 3 or 4 of them to test it out before we rolled it out to the group. Which
Yeah.
that's nice. I mean, I do the testing, and IAMS helps me lots of times with that. So and then we roll it out to the group. But I would say there isn't any problem whatsoever. It once in a great while it can, but it normally does not. I would not have any hesitancy whatsoever to talk to me, because most likely 98% chance that you've got an open area. I would think that's probably going to be the case.
Good. Well, Jordan, hopefully that answers your question. If not, or hopefully you already did put yes on that poll. So I did put the poll up. If you want to chat with Dave about anything that he discussed today, any questions you might have on Social Security in general, or questions on seminars, questions on coaching, questions on radio, whatever that you might have, hit yes on that poll. Brady will give you a call, and Brady will set up a time. He's got Dave's calendar, and he can just set up a 15. What's he normally set up, Dave? Is it about a 15-minute time slot?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's only about
Okay.
15 minutes. Yep.
Okay. And you and Dave can talk. I will say this is I get so much great feedback from guys that have had that call with Dave. You always got to get a little nugget of information. And as I mentioned at the outset, he's a producer. He loves talking to producers and learning more about their business and maybe giving me a little tip. And I think he likes it because every once in a while he gets a little tip. So
Yes, exactly right.
minutes, I give up that you can spare. You put a yes on that poll, and let's get you a conversation with Dave to answer any questions that you have that we don't get answered here right now. I did get the question, which it seems like we get fairly regularly, is can we send people these slides? So what's going to happen is you'll get, after this event, you'll have the opportunity to review this webinar, and we also keep our webinars all out housed on our YouTube channel, and I'll show you where all that is after you all vote on the poll. I'll take that poll down and I'll show you where you can find that on the website. And at the same time, I think I'll show you the Retirement Boss Radio website, where you can, if you want to listen to one of Dave's radio shows. So we did have a question from Tom, and his question is a little bit about Social Security claiming and how that works with radio. So when you don't just talk about Social Security. Your radio show is not Social Security 101. Why don't you talk a little bit about what goes on during your radio show and how Social Security gets kind of embedded in that?
Yeah, so we have show notes that I get from the production company that edits, mixes it, gets to that exact hour, gets to the radio station, supplies the co-host. They supply the show notes. I take those show notes and I rewrite those because I know that who I'm working, with my group. And so what happens is that we want people to go in. I mean, this is like a weird situation. When we got in a pretty big city on the East Coast, we have a lawyer, and the lawyer does a lot of trusts. And when he does those trusts, he opens up all the assets. And he time-wise is probably 75% lawyer, but income-wise, it might be 50-75% insurance when he opens that up, and then he shows fixed index or IULs or whatever the need is in those assets. But so what happened with him, I normally say don't talk any more than 20% or take away from the show notes. He does more law because that's what's bringing in for the lead generation. So we have flexibility. I mean, just like we have a Medicare shop here. My son runs Medicare. We're in open enrollment right now, so we mention Medicare each time. If you're not a Medicare shop, you are not going to mention Medicare, are you? But I'm just looking at my show notes, from this last week, but they're normally all about retirement planning because the show is called Retirement Boss Radio. Take charge of your money. But like here are my, now there's bullet points under each one of those that you go from, but it says, do I have a long-term plan? Okay. And so then it talks about chip away at debt, fine tune your spending, curb impulse buys, build your emergency savings now. And I do a quote every time. This quote is anonymous, but it says, too many people spend money they earn to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't even like. And so I have a little fun with that. The next bullet point is, how does inflation impact my cash flow? Because you know what, inflation, it's a big ticket item on everybody's mind right now. We actually have Stephanie Rule, who is she's a NBC News senior business analysis, and she's pretty bubbly. But she was talking about inflation, of just how it's affecting people right now. So we actually have a clip. Should I change course now or not? How diversified is my portfolio? Do I have emergency savings? I mean, so they're very general, but then you go in and do I go right from the notes? I go a lot from my notes because we have brand new notes every single week, so it's a new show. A lot of people, Steve, you know this. A lot of people don't even consider radio because they think it's going to be so just going to price them out. You know, it's going to be so expensive. But in reality, uh, radio costs about the same as putting on a seminar. You know, there might be a little more preparation with the show notes because you got to read those and learn those and make sure you know what you're talking about. But boy, the people who have done radio, we've had some real good success. And one of the things IAMS does do is they try to put you in a position where you're going to be able to get in front of more people. And that's what marketing is. It's different than sales. Sales is making the actual contract, but here we're trying to get you in front of a lot of people so you can go in and give them ideas of what to do with their money.
Perfect. And the calls to action on Social Security, you probably do what, 2 of those for each hour or 2 of those each half hour?
I do one each. Lots of times it'll be one each section, each 30 minutes. It might be just one over the hour, but normally I talk Social Security at least twice during the hour. And about 35% of our business that comes in is from Social Security. I just did one last week. 170,000 came in from Retirement Boss Radio, and I just said, what do you want to discuss today? What's important to you? Well, first of all, I came in, and what's he say? I got to find out when to take my Social Security.
Sure.
And it ended up at 170,000 sales. So you know what? I've had somebody say, "Hey, that's a bait and switch, Dave. That's a bait and switch." No, it's not at all. It's not a bit. I'm helping them with Social Security. I'm going to ask them, what their expenses are, what their debt is, what their goals are. When did they think they were going to take? What's your health like? What's your family's health like? How all? And then I want to ask them when I check out what their assets are. It's just like with this lady. She came from Social Security seminar, 700,000. Are you happy with your account right now? Isn't that the most fun thing to ask somebody if you're doing your share of fixed guaranteed business? Hey, how is that stock fund, by the way, doing right now? Because you know what? Unless you're in like United Healthcare or one of the oil stocks, I'm telling you what, you've just been clobbered. Well, by the way, wouldn't it be nice to have maybe some principal guarantee on that? And you know what? Let's say you're strictly insurance licensed. I take both ends of it, but on that 700,000, I'll tell you right now. I mean, she would probably do at least 500,000. Yeah, because that she's just so concerned, especially when you got a 10, 11. Steve, I guess some 1 year point to points like 7, 10 years they've even doing 12% plus right now, aren't they?
Yeah, we have a 13. Somebody just moved to 13 on a 1 year point to point S&P. So yeah, it's just unheard of.
Stupid. Just stupidly great. For us being the advisor, and stupidly great. They may not know, but I tell people you just don't know how great this is. So yeah, so it's just a great time. So yeah, so that Social Security it's a major player, and I coach people up on Social Security. And the great thing is, Steve, you pay for it. I mean, it doesn't cost the advisor a thing, and that's pretty cool. And I stay with you. Then IAMS, they give me a little. I'm not in any kind of override with you. They pay it out of that money out of their profit. But what happens is they stipend me a little bit to keep you on board. So anytime you got questions, I'm here to answer them for you. So it's kind of nice to have someone in your hip pocket like that.
You bet. Well, and so here's the question. It just came up a minute or two ago. So I'm guessing we were talking about radio and Social Security. The question is, do you ever get stumped? I'm assuming they think that your radio show is a live show.
Right. It's not. It's a recorded show. So, you know what? I know does something come up that I don't know the answer to? On Social Security, hardly ever. It does come up though, and then I go to the program's operational manual system. I do a lot with retirement planning. And Steve, you know what? I didn't tell you this. But it's interesting because all of our Social Security seminars are educational and they don't have any dinners. And there's some people that are dead against dinners, but we've certainly had some people that have in not just Social Security but different topics that have had I mean, really good success by throwing in a dinner.
Oh, sure.
But maybe I told this to you yesterday. But you know, the 8 mistakes seminar that I had such good success with,
Mhm.
and that I've tried that with and without dinners, but I haven't done that for probably 3 or 4 years. But I'm I'm revamping that a little bit and updating this one. Even though I don't normally like to show any kind of product, this one I have a couple 2 or 3 slide on just the graph of showing you can't lose money. I tell you what, when people are losing money and you're showing something that can't lose money, all of a sudden there's some interest there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Makes them excited.
I'm gonna revamp that and actually show that in January. And if I have success with that, yeah, then we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But I have a slide deck in there on Social Security also that grabs people's attention. I think the great thing, this webinar here was for Social Security, but we've got we're just talking about Dave Pimper. We're not talking about Para. We're not talking about the other types of marketing for Sterling, the other type of programs we have. So that's what's cool about IAMS. I mean, product. I don't mean to put FMOs down, but everybody's got product, but not everybody has great ideas and marketing ideas and to get you in front of people. And that's the one thing I truly do believe that sets IAMS, the FMO, apart.
Well, there's no doubt that that's in our DNA to help our producers get in front of more people. It's been the key to our success for years and years. Because it's what helps our producers the most. So that's what we try and do. And probably to further answer that question, so as Dave probably mentioned, his radio show is recorded. So when somebody calls in from a call to action, it's just going to go right to his phone answering service and they make an appointment. Or in your case, it would go right to your phone answering service that is set up as part of the Retirement Boss Radio and go right to an appointment. So you're getting appointments set from those calls to action that you offer on the radio shows. So that's I guess, the answer. Do I ever get stumped on a Social Security question? Not live. If you get a question from a client, you're working with Dave, and you get a question from a client, and you don't know the answer, you just call Dave. I mean, Dave knows 99% of the answers right off the top of his head. Social Security's been dealing with it for 12 years now. So great resource for you. Great resource for IAMS and IAMS producers. So we've got a couple people that haven't voted. That may be that because you can't vote. I will let Brady know to give you all a call and just follow up with you and see if it might be that you want to speak, set up an appointment with Dave. We'll get that taken care of. And I'm going to go ahead. I don't see. I should check one more time. Let me see if there's any more questions here.
And I'm gonna inject one thing because I was going to mention this, and it just sounded wrong, but it was right. Remember, I was talking about $1 trillion, and they got 2.81 trillion or 2.82 trillion in the trust fund. $1 trillion, and $1 trillion is basically what comes in per year from payroll taxes, from that 6.2% each way on the employer. And I said, so if you stacked up on flat side of $1 bills, you know how high they'd go for $1 trillion?
To the moon and back?
68,000 miles. So it would go 1/4 of the way to the moon. So when you hear the government talk about $1 trillion programs, I'm telling you what, it's wild, just wild. Yeah.
Yeah. It scares me. It scared me when we started talking about. We got away from talking about billions and went to talking about trillions.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you know what? When we were growing up, and I'm 67, Steve isn't as old, but we were kids, and probably people on this line that has a little bit of age to them. But a millionaire was a big deal. It was a big deal. But you know what? It's still locally, like in our town, it would still be a big deal. But you know what? You never hear anyone about being nationally a multimillionaire. You hear about a billionaire, and it's very interesting because and somehow yesterday, Steve, I was talking about Metastock, which is Facebook, part of Facebook, and what happens is, I mean, Zuckerberg and Mark Zuckerberg and Bezos, they're talking about that they lost 1/3 of their net worth in the last 8 months. I mean, 1/3. So if they were at 200 billion, all of a sudden they're worth 1/3 less. I tell you right now, When I thought of that, it's like it's just happening to the little guy with the 401ks, but it's happening to the big boys too. But here's the difference: they have so much money, it makes no difference. If you've got that 400,000, all of a sudden you look at this 270, 80,000. A lot of people are just saying, I do not want to lose money like this. And again, that's why probably Steve, like with yourself, I know you were talking about, your firm are having record months. Well, no wonder why, because it's really it's like the perfect storm of working with some kind of guaranteed product right now.
Yeah. Well, there's demographics that have always have influenced our business, markedly, at least for the last 15, 20 years with the baby boomers as they've aged through. And now you've got market turmoil, and crazily, interest rates are actually going up, which we haven't seen that in 15 years, probably, to any real level. So yeah, it's a great time to be in the fixed business. And we lost a lot of business, well, not a lot, but a decent number of cases that maybe we would have seen before that went to those registers index linked annuities that had some upside and a little bit more upside and a little bit more downside than an index annuity. I mean, now people are like, well, why would I want any downside if my upside's 10% or 11% or 12% on the S&P? I mean, that's a good enough upside. So that business is all financed back into the coffers.
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
So what I threw up here really quick was our website, because people asked about where. So here is a website. It's www.imsinc.com. And if you just go right here, that's the YouTube logo, if you will, and go right there. What'll happen, and this one isn't up yet, of course, because it's still going on, but all of our webinars are housed here. So you can always go, and like here's one that Dave did just on Retirement Boss Radio. Dave mentioned, qualified appointments. There's one webinar we did there on that yesterday. Here is a webinar that we did a few days ago on Social Security claiming. So you can, many subjects you can get some good information from on these webinars. And I always tell people this, we always do a little bit of a commercial on the front end, and you can just scroll right through that. So you don't always have to listen to that because you probably heard it before. And now let's do really quickly. I'm going to show you, I think, if I can. I'm going to show you Retirement Boss Radio. So if you want to listen to a podcast, you can do that. You just got to go to retirementbossradio.com. And there we go. I don't know why it's not just popping up for me, but there it is. And right down here at the bottom, that's Dave when he was younger, by the way. Right down here at the bottom is podcast. So you can listen to them. You see they're in half-hour segments. So that takes out kind of all the commercial stuff. And Dave does an hour, but they're divided in half-hour segments. So you can listen to any one of those and get an idea. And that's exactly what you sound like by the time you get done with all the production and all the work that they do and, throwing out and re-recording when you want to, you're going to have a pretty good sounding radio show. And so I encourage you all to listen to one of those as well. All right. I don't see any more questions. I don't know. We've kind of gone over a few minutes what we normally allot for this. But if anybody has any questions, certainly feel free to give us a call at the office. That's 800-255-5055. If you need to chat with Dave, give us a call. We'll get you over to him as well. Brady can set an appointment. If you call for Brady Pelzer, he'll set you an appointment with Dave. He has his calendar handy. Or if you just like to get with Dave, we'll direct you right to his 800 number as well. So a lot of ways to get where you need to go, and we want to help you. You know that. Have a great Friday, everybody. A great finish here to the week and a nice weekend. I know the fall is drawing to a close and winter will be here soon. So have a great weekend and enjoy the outdoors where you can. If there's anything we can do to help you, that's what we're about here at IAMS. 800-255-5055. Call for myself, call for anybody on the sales team. We're looking forward to helping. Anything that you want to say as we finish up here today, Dave?
No, hey, just thank you for being on board, and if I can help you, certainly mark yes on that or call me, and we'll get her going. We'll get some good ideas going your way.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody, and good luck on your sales. Have a great day.
Bye now.